welcome to the Q&A for Upon Release, a short film that you just saw, a really good short film, brilliant film. I'm sure if we had an audience here inside the theater, a lot of hands would be going up and everyone would want to know the process of how you all came together to make this film. I think it's so, of course, like the most natural compliment is how authentic it is, but Manley is playing himself. Manley Woods is playing himself, and co-wrote this, so no wonder it's authentic. This is we're I think it's just a wonderful, important, amazing glimpse into how we deal with juvenile corrections and everything, and so I'm grateful that you all came together to make this film, and it came out wonderfully and just well acted, well directed. I couldn't say stronger. My strongest compliment could be that as I'm watching through the screeners, I never look at what the other jury members' ratings are, and when I saw this, I'm like, oh, I would bet the whole farm that this is in, because I don't think anyone would watch this film and not just be completely impressed with the sincerity and authenticity and the quality with which it's made. So bravo to the three of you. I wish we could have had a theater full of 60, 70 people giving you applause, but you have to settle for my silent hands on Zoom.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I suppose the first question, please, someone go ahead and how did I assume it would be how Manley and Anton met to get this film?
Yeah, I suppose I'll start and then Manley can take over. I think basically I met Manley on another shoot where he had a small role, and I just thought he was such an interesting guy that a couple of months after I emailed him and they asked Manley, what do you do for a living? And Manley said that he works at a residential treatment facility, and he told me a little bit about his work. I thought that was so interesting, and I started thinking, well, is there a way to capture his experience realistically and put that into a short film? And I called him and we talked some more, and then Manley maybe can take over here and I tell you what we talked about and how we kind of came up with our story.
Yeah, like I said, Anton reached out to me, asking me what I did for a living, and I really had no clue as to why he was asking that. Maybe he had looked at my resume and saw that I was a probation officer. He said that wasn't the case, but once I told him that, he just let me know that he had an idea about a film that he wanted to do based off of my employment as a probation officer for the past 20 some odd years, and let him know that the youth that I deal with are housed in a residential treatment facility for a period of 5, 7, 9 months, up to a year in some cases, if they are not running their program in accordance to what their conditions of probation are. And it just kind of built from there. And, we talked about the recidivism rates of the minors sometimes returning repeatedly in a lot of cases. And in some situations, once they are released, do they have homes to go back to? Are they sent to another treatment facility? Or there are some instances where they are sent to an independent living facility where they have to pay rent. They're given jobs and things of that nature. And so it just kind of grew from there. He informed me that he didn't want to give me a script per se, and that he wanted me to, be authentic, I guess, play it as I would if I'm interacting with a normal minor youth on the job. And so I everything that I was saying was kind of just based off of how I normally interact with the youth at the facility, and which was a great experience for me. I was ecstatic to do it, and I think it's I think it's a great project, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And uh, here we are.
Exactly. And then Alexa joined us, and it all really came together. You know, she was able to provide the support system and the network for us to actually make the movie come together, because without her we just had this idea and this character and Manly, of course, but she brought it together as an actual shoot.
Yeah, I remember you pitching it to me, and I was like, is this like a documentary? And you were like, no. Is this scripted? No, there's not a script. So, I mean, the always fascinating thing to me was Manly, because he was an actor, but he was also bringing all of this experience, and all of these like memories of relationships that you made with the youth. So, like, honestly, from there, I was hooked. When you can't name it, you know that it's going to be good.
And you gave, so it was unscripted, so you had sort of a script, an idea for each scene, but then
Yeah.
Manly and the actors would improvise and keep it natural. Was that the idea?
So how it worked was we had this idea for these three scenes, kind of three acts, right? And I told Manly from the start, you know, just be yourself, just say the things that you would say as yourself in these situations. And then the actors, you know, the other actors, I talked a little bit more with them, and I gave them a little bit more of their, a little bit more direction, kind of what they wanted from the other characters, what they needed in the specific scenes. And then how it worked is in each scene, basically at the start, I would just yell action and kind of tell the actors approximately what they wanted in the scene, what they needed to do. And no dialogue was given. They would just talk how they would naturally talk. And then usually that first take would drag on for a little bit too long. It was a little bit loose, you know, everybody was improvising. And then eventually I'd yell cut, and then I'd come in and shape the scene a little bit, you know, realize this is where a good time to end the scene is. These are the beats that are the most interesting. And then we would do a couple of more takes based on that more concrete structure, but one that came from improvisation and from Manly being who he is.
Yeah, I understand why you were so taken. So the second act, when Manly visits the father's apartment and seeing the Manly's performance, I think I realized you were playing yourself, but your acting is superb. The level of professionalism, and yet we can see how much you care about this kid's future. I think that's really where we get hooked as an audience, just to know, you know, how thorough the system is and how much it hinges on someone who is giving an effort and giving a sincere involvement of themselves.
Thank you. That scene is my experience as a probation officer. I've either worked in area office where they come see me, or I've been at a residential facility where they're housed. I've never had the job as a probation officer where I actually go to the house to do the home evaluation and inspection, speak with the parent to see if the living conditions are conducive to the minor returning. So I just kind of drew from speaking with coworkers in the past, and you know, office conversations of, hey, I went to this kid's house and the parent is such and such, and I can understand why the kid is so out of control, or, you know, the kid doesn't have his own bed, or there's no running water, no electricity, he can't return. So that I was a little more nervous about that scene than probably any other scene in the film. But uh, thank you. Thank
And
you.
I just wanted to say that that scene, the take that you see in the movie, is pretty much the whole first take. Like that was what it was. You know, that white shot is what we did straight away, because then afterwards our cinematographer got a little tired, and then we had to break it into little sections because the camera was so heavy. But that first one is, I thought, the best one, and that's the one that made it into the movie. So that was like really the pure first improvisational take that we did that ended up the one we chose.
It works so well. I imagine, so if hands were going up in the theater, I would expect one of the first would be, is this the first of many? I mean, I would probably be hooked on this if this were a series, you know, and we got to
Yeah.
see, we got to really see behind the curtain of something really important that no matter, I think most people are ignorant about.
Yeah, yeah, no, that would be wonderful. Actually, there's we talked at the start with Alexa about, is there a way that we can actually get into the facility and film a little bit more of you know, what a day is like in one of these residential treatment facilities. But it would be, I agree, it's an important subject that would be interesting to see more.
And your film really sets up, I can't remember any name, but the name of the young man, boy, I really want to know
Michael, yeah,
how things go for him.
yeah, yeah. It's that would definitely be fun to look into that, because I think there's a lot there that we tried to leave it a little bit ambiguous, a little bit realistic. You know, we don't. There's no necessarily happy ending in real life, and in our movie, it's similarly, it's a little bit of an open book. We don't know what's going to happen, right? We can't guarantee what the next step will be.
And on the filmmaking
Yeah.
front, how many days did you shoot? How the edit go? Was this how did it come together? Did you know, did it feel like editing a documentary? I'm just curious.
Alexa, do you want to take the production, and then I'll talk a little bit about the post?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was over the course of a weekend, so 2 days. One day we shot at the house, and then another day we shot like all the scenes in the residential treatment facility. Uh, and yeah, and like preparing and everything. I mean, sometimes in school we have like a lot of projects going on, so we like casting and all of that took like a lot more time. But I think because this was it was like a very verite style, like there wasn't, it was just about capturing what was happening in the moment and using the elements that were in those locations to capture like a very real, like not glossed up feeling. So that went really smoothly. It was one of the smoother productions that we've had.
And Alexa also, she took care of the entire casting process. Other than Manly, she did a lot to get the cast together. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, how we found our
Oh
actors?
yeah. And I mean, that was sort of like, because we didn't have a script, once like people came to casting sessions, you would also be like very playful with it, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna like, and they would go off in monologues, and the actors that we ended up casting, it was like they had us in the room like immediately, because we saw a lot of wonderful actors, but it was the ones that you see in the movie that really conveyed like those emotions, and they conveyed them like without having any, like just having the situation. So
Yeah,
a lot of props to them.
yeah. And then the editing, I wanted our editor Christopher Ma to be here, but he couldn't, unfortunately. But yeah, I was in the editing room a lot with him, and he said it was tough because it was a lot of, you know, continuity is hard to do when every take is different, because every time there's no script, everybody's saying different lines each time around. So he had great for him is that he's got a great memory, so he remembers lines pretty much straight away, so he could build those dialogues in between the different takes. But it did, I think, feel to him like a documentary, because again, we didn't shoot much coverage and there's no repeated segments. He had to really make it work like a puzzle. You know, the first cut was like 25 minutes, I think. And then we had to narrow it down, which he did a great job of, I think.
And mainly, I recall Anton said that he met you first on a set. So you mentioned, I think, 20 years as a probation officer, but you have an interest in acting too. You got a great screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I've been acting 15, 20 years. Started doing background work in music videos and stuff, and still do background work to this day when it's available. But yes, I love acting. It gives me an opportunity to step out of myself. I'm more of the reserved type, an introvert. So acting it gives me a chance to step out of my comfort zone, and compete with other actors who are in the profession. I'm an ex-athlete by trade, ex-pro football player, and I haven't found anything that I love to do to that extent, except for acting. The probation job is great. I have a great schedule, but I don't love it like I love acting. I do love interacting with the youth and trying to be a positive male role model and influence on them. And once they are released from our facilities, it's I try to keep in contact with them. It's not something that the job in and of itself promotes, because once we're supposed to keep it professional, but you build relationships, with these young men, and you feel for some of their stories, and so I'll give them my phone number in case they want to talk or they need some advice upon getting out. I think in some cases it helps. I feel in some cases it doesn't, but I do what I can, but yes, I love acting, and I'm gonna continue to pursue it as long as I can. And when Anton chose me for this, I was just so excited and appreciative of it, because you're told no in so many instances, and when someone when you get cast, and he said he was doing the film around me, it's just such a confidence booster, and I couldn't thank him enough. And the cast and the crew, everybody was professional and fun and had a great time. It was great working with them, and it's a positive experience all the way around. And I hope to continue to meet and work with people like Anton in the future. And once again, I can't thank him enough.
And I really can't thank Manly enough, because the film wouldn't exist without him. He is the movie. I think he's I think more important to this movie than the director, for sure, because he's this character, and we were just lucky to be there and capture him being himself. So thank you.
I have to say, I guarantee if we were in the theater, there'd be hands going up saying Manly needs to write a biography. I think your story sound, now I understand what Anton sensed innately, is that there's an amazing story there. So fingers crossed.
One day.
I'm not going to rule it out. Gets explored. We're bumping into the end of our time, but I always ask, just in case, if there's a collaborator or a contributor to the film that didn't come up during our chat, maybe someone would want to jump in and name some names who deserve naming.
Well, yeah, from my side, I would say obviously Christopher Ma, our editor, he put in a lot of work to this. He did a really great job dealing with a tough edit. Yining Bei, our sound designer, mixer, it was we had to mix during quarantine. That was especially tough. So he did a great job, and of course, all of our great actors, John Ibe, Franklin Lievert, who am I forgetting, Alexa, or other talented actors?
Yes. Well,
Courtney Olivier.
yes. Yeah, all of our actors and our background too.
Our background was great. What was his name? Jamal, your
Jameer.
friend, Jameer. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, but everybody who was involved, we're just very grateful for your work on this movie. Thank you for helping us make it, and I hope you're as proud as we are of the end result. Thank you.
Well, and thank you for submitting it to Sherman Oaks Film Festival. I'm really proud to have it be an official selection this year, and bravo. I hope it's the first act of something much bigger, because I think there's something really special here. So
thank you so much.
And after meeting this team, now I see why. There's just a real sincere devotion both to the film and the subject. So no wonder it came out great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Right. Well, thank all three. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure. I'll look forward to seeing you more.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us very much. So.
All right. Bye.
Have a good one, everybody.
You too.
Thank you. Have a good one, you guys. Talk soon.